Namaskaram, my dear friends, my dear masters, my dear gods. Welcome for today's Aatma Deepo Bhava session. So today is day 10. Our topic of discussion is soul science and wisdom. And today our speaker is Master Smitha Hemadri. Master Smitha Hemadri is a nature cure practitioner and educator, and she helps people in holistically guiding to heal naturally. She has been meditating for the last 2 years in PSSM and has been doing Gudakesha from Feb 2022. Let us welcome Master Smitha for the session. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Bharti ji. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to this beautiful program. And today is a very beautiful day. We've got we did a very beautiful meditation as well. It was a very relaxing meditation. Thank you, Master, from all the energies from Chandrapur, I think. So, yeah. Before we start, I would like to thank Brahma Shri Pitama Patri ji for creating this platform. Is this okay? Is the recording started? Yeah, okay. So I would like to thank Brahma Shri Pitama Patri ji and then our Grandmaster Prabodh Achyutha for creating this beautiful platform so that we can all come together and then walk towards the path of soul realization. Before we walk towards the path of soul realization, understand all that we have to do about ourselves and then go there with a beautiful knowledge, beautiful state. So let us close our eyes for a minute and then connect to the consciousness of both these masters and all the gurus and all the ascended masters, so that we can connect to their energies, raise our consciousness, and then understand this deep wisdom that is going to come forth. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can you please enable screen sharing?
You don't have host access? I'll contact you. It means then you need to go back and come, I think, if you need host access.
Okay, let me
Even I don't have host access, and
okay, let me just
without screen it would be okay. I will just go and come, but you can continue like that. You share that with me to WhatsApp. You can continue and just like that the other day will do.
Okay, fine. So I'll just continue with the thing.
Yeah.
So today the topic that we will be speaking about is called soul science and soul wisdom. If you talk about in Sanskrit, it's called Atma Jnana and Atma Vijnana. Jnana is called knowledge and Vijnana is called experience. So before we go into this topic of Jnana and Vijnana, let's understand some of the 6 spiritual science laws, right? So the first law is called the law of consciousness. What is the law of consciousness? Yesterday, Master Bharti also spoke about the levels of consciousness, and she also gave us the definition of consciousness. So just to give you a recap, consciousness is the level of awareness that we have. We are all a soul. So we have that divine energy that we bring with us to this physical vehicle called the human body. So that is called the consciousness. And that level of awareness, once it reaches the body, can be anything based on the wisdom that the soul carries. It is not based on the knowledge, it is based on the wisdom. So it is like how many, like if you have gone to first standard,
Send me the
second
PPT,
standard, third
please.
standard. Sorry?
Send me the PPT. You didn't send me.
Just give me a minute, friends. Yeah, just sending. Okay, while it is going. Yeah. So we are nothing but the soul. That is called law of consciousness. And we bring in that energy, that electricity for any appliance. So that is called the consciousness. So it is that level of awareness that we have. Who am I, what am I, those kinds of things is called awareness. So that is the level of consciousness. So the second law states, so these laws are very important, friends. So just remember what I'm saying, or when you see it on the screen, you should be able to capture that. So the second law says, law of incarnation and reincarnation. So once this soul comes into this body, it is called incarnation. And after the first time, it continues to reincarnate into multiple bodies. So that is the second law. Why does it come? For experience. For experiencing the human life, for experiencing human living. So that is why it incarnates and reincarnates. The third law says the law of karma, which is the cause and effect, right? The most important law. And we all know about law of karma, but let me just reiterate again. Law of karma, in fact, there's a very negative connotation to karma in our everyday life. People, when they talk about karma, they really think it's really bad. And even in colloquial talk, they say, right, it is your karma, that is why you have all these problems in your life and all of those things. So that is actually every suffering has been negatively associated with something called the karma. And every positive thing they say, it's her beautiful samskara and all of those things, they give a very nice term to that. But then when they talk about bad things, challenges, suffering, they say that is their karma. But actually, friends, karma is nothing but a beautiful system, a process that has been set, you can say an autopilot system that has been created or that has been established in the universe, just so we can proceed forward in our journey towards self-realization. It is like an examination. So if you knew, like the soul makes its own plan and then it comes into this physical body. So what plan does it make? It let's say it has some plan to learn about what is trust and what is truth. I want to be truthful, I want to be trustworthy and things like that. So if it has this plan, it comes into this body, but then the way the earthly life is, it forgets everything. So who's going to remind that this is the plan, this is how it has to be executed and all of those things? Who's going to remind the soul about all this? That is where our higher self comes into the picture, which means a part of our soul, which is at a higher consciousness, trying to remind us about all of these things. So the plan is now going to work in the form of what? In the form of experiences that come in front of us, which is going to teach us trust, and which is going to teach us how to be truthful. If we have to learn trust, what should we do? We'll be getting a lot of opposite experiences where we will not even have any scope to trust people. But at that time, there will be a lot of experiences where we'll have to trust them and only then move forward with life. And that is how you will get a contrast in front of you, and then you will be able to learn the opposite of it. So only when there is a problem, you will be able to find a solution. You cannot find a solution when there is no problem. So that is majorly what karma principle is all about. You are learning the whole of any aspect. If you have to understand truth, you'll have to understand what is lying also, deception also. If you have to understand trustworthiness, you should also have to understand the opposite of it also. So like this, we have led a few lives learning this, and then we have led a few lives learning this. That way, from a soul wisdom perspective, we have now the whole gamut of this entire concept of trust and not being trusted. So if a human being has to be understood, and his life has to be understood, life on earth has to be understood, soul has to understand what all a human being goes through in this side of the spectrum, in the lower side of the spectrum, and the higher side of the spectrum as well. So karma is is that vehicle that is going to help us experience all of these things in random permutations and combinations. We may think it's random, but it is all very organized. So that is what is called karma's law and cause of law and effect, cause and effect. See, Jesus also said, as you sow, so you reap, which means when you sow a seed, you'll be able to reap the same plant or a tree. If you sow a mango seed, you'll get a mango plant only. Similarly, you will create your own reality. If you, whatever you are thinking and whatever you are saying, whatever you are intending to create, many times we create without our knowledge also. We think without our knowledge. We have 60,000 thoughts per day. And then how much are we aware about on a daily basis, right? So, and every single thought is getting created as a reality. So that is what Jesus said. You are creating your own reality, whether you know it or no, whether you're aware about it or no, we are creating. That is anyway happening. But then the what we are learning in the process is all about awareness. Okay. So without understanding the law, we really cannot understand a proper reality. So that is very, very important. Now, what is, so every action is creating a certain result. And that result is again becoming an action to the next result. So it is like if you have today is the present, and this present was created because of something that we did in the past. And now is the past for something that happens in the future. So like that, there is a consequence that is actually happening. If you have to undo anything that you have created, then you will have to basically change the entire program. You'll have to change this habitual pattern of sequentially things are happening, right? You'll have to break that pattern and then completely change the program. So these are majorly law of karma. Of course, what is law of karma? When we are also not, if we are not thinking properly and crossing the road, we will obviously bear the consequences of it. If we are not thinking and we are overeating, we are facing the consequences. If we are underdoing also, we face consequences. If we are overdoing also, we face consequences. So either way, the universe doesn't think whether you're doing more or less or whatever. To that extent, it really gives you a result. Okay, so then there is also one more important thing that Patriji has spoken about. And of course, even I do believe, majorly because I'm a vegan, and I do believe in, what do you say, eating when we kill animals, or when we take their fluids and milk and other things, and then when we use it for our pleasure. Today, we are not in a situation where drinking milk or eating meat or any of these things are for survival. We are not doing any of these things for survival. We drink milk for coffees and teas and cheese and butter and all of those things. Don't we think we can live without all of those things? Isn't the plant world, which is what Patriji also says, which is the plant is what has to be consumed, but our animals are like us. We are also a part of the animal kingdom. We can't go and feed off our colleagues. We have done all that. We have been in the process of what do you say, being a predator and then killing another animal and eating in the food cycle. But then now we are on top of the food chain for a reason, because we have done all that, we have seen all that, we have understood all that, and now is the time for soul realization. We are on top of the food chain majorly, and intellect has been given so that we can understand that we don't have to continue our root chakra tendencies, which is killing, harming, and living off of another person or another being. We are alone, and then we are solely responsible for whatever we reap, because we now understand that we are creators, right? So when we are mammals, and then another cow is also a mammal, we are making milk for our baby, and then the cow is also making milk for its baby. Based on what right we can go and then take away the milk of that calf for our coffees and teas. And we don't even get calcium from all of those things, because we make our own calcium. So many of these concepts I'm going to talk about in my next topic, which is health. But then Patriji also says that this karma, where animals are harmed, is going to come back to us very, very dearly. And even in PSSM, non-vegetarian is not at all appreciated. And Parinita Patriji and Pari Patriji, they are all about even going to the next level of telling that we should not be drinking animal fluids also, because that is also a form of himsa, right? So animals are our peers, they are our brothers and sisters. So we should be very, very considerate and go deep into understanding how karma affects us. And even in Durga Saptashati, Mata Adi Shakti, she says to Shankaracharya that at one point a human being sacrifices a lot of animals. He doesn't know, even in that state of awareness, he doesn't know that he shouldn't do that. When he's cutting the meat, when he's giving a bali of animals and then giving it to me, he doesn't know. But he will still reap the karma's cause and effect, because today he doesn't know. He will accumulate it. Tomorrow, when he knows, he will suffer it. That is what she says even in that. So there is nobody who can escape the law of karma. It is definitely going to catch up, always, until we learn to respect, live and let live policies, that I am a self-healing being, and I will eventually have to live only on pranic energy, which is only breath. And if I am capable of living only on breath, I obviously have to lose and leave all of my root chakra tendencies, which is eating and eating and eating off of animals, and then eventually come to plant-based lifestyle, and eventually go into only fruitarian lifestyle, which is also a lifestyle happening in the fifth dimension, which if you've read books like Sunshine Before Dawn and all that, you'll understand that some of the higher dimension people eat only fruits. May not be the fruits of apple and orange that we eat, but some other fruits. But then, so fruitarian lifestyle is our lifestyle. But then we are not yet ready to go there. We will eventually go there. So that is where we'll all have to lead in the future. So the next law is called the law of constant progression. What does it mean? It means that you are always progressing in the right direction. Sometimes we think that, oh, I took a wrong decision of going in this direction. I shouldn't have gone. Now I'm not getting this job. Now I'm not really getting this promotion and all of those things. But always remember that the universe believes, the universe is always taking you forward. There is nothing like you going backwards in this journey. So that is what is called the law of constant progression. See, all of these laws are existing whether you understand it or no. This is why all this Svadhyaya and Sajjana Sangatya comes into play. It's like you are already in this game, everything is already happening, but it is just lack of awareness. All that we are learning in this journey is only awareness, friends. Because we don't even know who we are. Like we know we are a soul and all that intellectually, but then we may not have even attained that soul realization to experience that soul realization. So obviously we still don't know ourselves, right? But we are still going ahead with life. We are still getting up every single day and leading our life and all that. So we are constantly progressing forward. Now, the fifth law says law of hastening your progression. Law of hastening your progression means you are already progressing on a daily basis. You are doing whatever you're doing on a daily basis, but you always have the choice or the free will to fasten this progress. What does this mean? You can meditate, right? You can read books. You can go ahead and then participate in Sajjana Sangatya. And anything that is going to increase your level of awareness and speed up this process of progression, and then speed up your process of soul realization. We are all in this to know ourselves. We are all in this to treasure hunt our eternal bliss, which is Sachidanand. So why not do it with a fast rate? Why not go there maybe with a higher speed? So that is what is called the fifth law, law of hastening your progression. The sixth law says law of uncertainty. So today we are all sitting in this meeting, in this workshop, but do we know exactly what are the factors that contributed to making this workshop happen? We really don't know. We just believe that there are some good things that came into play, and then this is what is happening. So this is what is called the law of uncertainty. It means that everything is uncertain. We are supposed to flow like water, trust the process like it is the sacred law, and then go with this as if everything that is happening to us is the best thing that is happening to us. So that is what is called law of uncertainty. And when we are always in fear, when we are always anxious about the future, when we are always expecting something about an outcome, we are not comfortable with uncertainty, because when we were animals in the past lives and all that, we were scared for death. The fear of death is one of the highest fears that we all have. So law of uncertainty is very important for us to understand that whether even though you're trying to control a certain outcome, and then being in fear and trying to manipulate yourself and trying to get a certain outcome, there is still uncertainty there also. So what are you trying to beat anyway? You are trying to beat uncertainty and trying to control the future and trying to manipulate and say that I don't like this to happen, so I want that to happen. Let me try to work my way through certain outcome that I want. But there also there is uncertainty, friends. We think it is uncertain, we think it is certain, and we are thinking we are all controlling it, but this is where uncertainty comes in. Yeah. Next slide, please. So coming to after understanding about the spiritual science laws, soul science means understanding that we are a soul and knowing that everything around me is nothing but the creator. I am the creator, because who am I? I'm just an appliance, right? This body is just an appliance. And if this appliance has to behave like a human body, walking, talking human body, there has to be that electricity that has to come into this appliance, right? So that is what is called the soul. It is bringing its own energy and consciousness. So that is what is that knowledge is what is called Atma Jnana or soul science. And the soul wisdom is nothing but the experiential knowledge of I am the soul. And I'll take you through stages of understanding soul wisdom, but ultimate understanding of soul wisdom is that samadhi state where we truly know ourselves. Of course, there's a different levels to it. The very first level is to understand who I am. I am a soul. And what does it mean to say I am a soul? That is what is called the Atma Vijnan. Next slide. So just some few things here. Of course, knowing that I am a body and not, I am a soul and not a body. And then what does it mean when we say soul knowledge? It means that I am moving out of body consciousness to soul consciousness at a knowledge wise. If I'm thinking that I am a body and then just work like a body, and behave like a body, like this body is mine, everything is mine, accumulate, all of those things, because I think that everything that is with me is permanent. So that is not called soul consciousness. So moving from body consciousness to soul consciousness, knowledge wise, is called again Atma Jnana. And then this soul knowledge is always present, whether we know it or not, that knowledge is always present. And it is, see, when somebody teaches us something, when somebody shares our knowledge, shares their knowledge, or when a book comes and presents itself to you, do you think that you're learning something afresh? No, you're not learning anything afresh. Every universal knowledge, the entire cosmic knowledge is already inside you. It is just that the books are trying to remind you about it, and people who are presenting here are just trying to remind you what you already know. Unless it is inside you, it cannot come from outside. Nothing is coming from outside. So everything is already you and nothing is coming from outside. That is what is called soul knowledge. And this knowledge is the representation of love. It is love. It is dharma. It is truth. It is divine bliss. This knowledge. And the experience is the actual that we eventually experience. So then this Atma or the soul doesn't have any gender. There is no female, male. There is no status. There is no education. There is no caste. All of these things we'll have to drop. These are called body consciousness knowledge. I'm a female. I'm a male. I'm rich. I'm poor. I'm very educated. I'm from this college. I'm from that college. I'm IIT. All of those things. I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Shudra, all of those things are basically body consciousness, which we will eventually drop. We'll have to drop before we rise into the higher chakras and the higher states of consciousness. We will have to drop this and then go forward. To understand that I am a soul and experiential knowledge about the soul, it is very important that knowledge about the soul has to be first gathered. Belief that I am a soul has to be first gathered. Then only experience will come. You may know intellectually that I am a soul, but then if there is no belief, oh, let me get the experience, then I'll believe. That will not come. Universe says that you have to believe me unconditionally. You have to believe my laws unconditionally. You have to believe everything unconditionally. Follow me like with a blind faith. Then only I'm going to give you what you want. So it is very important that you go on this path with that trust and faith, Shraddha. Right? Master keeps saying Shraddha in his meditations. So this is what is called Shraddha. You are constantly in that disciplined mode to go forward in life. So I was also saying that it is like electricity. So you are the instrument of that creator always. Whether you understand it or no, whether you remember it or no, that is the state of awareness that you'll have to go to. The non-doership. You are here where the creator is trying to experience his own creation. So you are just you are in a body. The creator is that soul, the energy that is coming to that soul. So he is just using this body to experience. So which means what are you? You are an appliance. You are a washing machine to which the electricity is coming. It will work only when that electricity comes. So otherwise, what is the use of the washing machine? It is just lying there in the corner. So you are an instrument. You don't have, this body doesn't really have a individuality, rather it doesn't have a importance of its own. The importance comes only because of that energy that is behind it. So always remember that you are the instrument of that creator. There is no doership here. Bhagavad Gita says you are not a doer. You are just the person who's experiencing the creation, just an observer. Don't think that I am controlling everything. Don't get sucked up into this whole Maya system. You are just an instrument. Just go with the flow. Experience this also, experience that also. Okay. So, and this Atma Jnana we will get because of many years of sadhana. I will tell you how we all get this. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So, so in this slide, what I'm basically showing is the process of evolution of how we go to that Vijnan stage, how we go to that experiential stage. What are the series of steps that typically happens, right? So the first stage is we are ignorant about the Atma. We don't know we have an Atma. So there are so many people who live in such a pure body consciousness state that you go and tell them that you are a soul. What? That is what they say. And even the animals, right? They don't know that they are, they don't have that awareness. So that is what is called the body consciousness, or where we are totally in the ego state. We have that lower mind. We still have to ascend to the higher mind. So ego is again having a bad connotation, friends. Ego is not bad. Ego will align itself to the intellect at the higher mind. The lower mind will connect to the higher mind, provided we have that knowledge, and then provided we are going in the direction to apply that knowledge. So ego was necessary for us to leave our home and come here to experience this creation, where there is a lot of uncertainty, where we forget ourselves, where we had to leave our home, leave our family, and come here. So it is very important for us to understand that this ego was necessary for us to come to this stage. It's like we need to take that step. Let's say if I have to go on an official duty to Bombay, to Mumbai, I have to be leaving my home and then going ahead to the kitchen, to Mumbai, right? Like that, I have to leave and come. So that I need to take the plane tickets and things like that and go to Mumbai. Just a minute. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so that is about the ego. The second stage is called soul science, or the Atma Jnana, which is where we know that I am a soul. Theoretically, I know I am a soul, but we are actually not living it. In many cases, right, we are getting, like, let's say somebody at home suddenly starts irritating you or something like that. We get irritated, and then we get angry. Why? Even though we are even though we know we are alone, even though we know we are a soul, this body, there is no doership, all of that we know, but still we are not 100% there. So the stage 2 and stage 3, where we are learning the soul knowledge, but we are still in that state of ajnana. Ajnana means ignorance, that I am a soul. We are not living that 100%. So we keep circling between this stage 2 and stage 3 all the time until this cycle ends, and then we complete the portions, and then we go forward to that stage 4. So this is where that stage is coming. So for example, what for example, we become let's say rocks. We take birth as rocks in the first dimension. In the first dimension, we take birth as rocks to experience creation. And then in the second, first one is more like minerals, water, and those kinds of things, is first dimension. Second dimension, we have plants and animals, viruses, germs, all of those things are second dimensional beings. Then in third dimensional, we have human beings and all that. So in the human being state, we are constantly circling. In the fourth dimensional state, we basically are almost in that state of oneness, but we are still not yet there. So we are circling in the state. So what is that levels of progression? We have to complete the portions of why we have come to earth. Why have we come to earth? Like I said in the beginning of this workshop, we are here to understand the whole part of that aspect. To understand that I am a beggar, I'm begging. If I have to understand the life of a beggar, I have to beg. And then in some other life, I also have to give alms to a beggar. And I have to, let's say, understand, I have to look at a beggar and then maybe show compassion or whatever. And then here in the other side, I have to also beg. And then I'll have to look at rich people and then think about something. So there is a whole permutation and combination in this equation of leading all these kinds of lifestyles. Then understanding that I can rape people. And then there is also another aspect of understanding that I am a victim. And then being abused by a husband. And then being an abusive wife. So there is all of these aspects. So many permutations and combinations that we have in real life, right? So every single thing has to be experienced. And then we have to keep proceeding forward with that knowledge that we have gained with that experience. Okay, if I tell a lie, then these are the consequences that is going to happen to this human being. This is how I'm going to hurt my family members. This is what the other people are going to feel. So this is knowledge. So remember that soul vignan or that soul wisdom is not achieved overnight. It is progressively achieved on a daily basis, on a minute to minute basis. Every present that you are living, you are also experiencing something. Because like the spiritual law says, you are constantly progressing forward. What are you taking what are you taking with you forward? That wisdom of the past. And then that awareness is, of course, built. Okay, so that is what is called soul vignan. So you'll have to experience that. You have to experience every single experience, friends. There is no good or bad in experience. Unless you finish all the negative side of it, and then you understand all the positive sides of it, you are not going to be complete. Right? You have to understand both the sides of these equations. And no, I'm still going to the past only. The past slide. Yeah. So you have to understand both the sides of the equation, friends. So don't go into duality. You'll have to move out of duality, because it is important for you to understand that every single experience is necessary for you. You have to become knowledgeable about all of these experiences. So drop your logical brain, drop your likes and dislikes, drop all of these attachment to desires, because unless you are facing with a different problem, you will never be able to experience that. And then this feeling of I like only this, I want only this, is all coming from our animalistic mentalities. We'll have to drop this. We'll have to understand that we need all these experiences, and then we'll be able to appreciate life in the same spirit. So that is when we'll go to stage 4, where we realize that, okay, I was searching for eternal bliss from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3 across multiple lifetimes in various experiences, in the negative spectrum and the positive spectrum. And then I did not find my eternal bliss, which I was experiencing as a soul. I am a soul. I know what is my true state. I was searching for that true state in this journey. And finally, I will realize that, see, it is like when you call a dog, what do? You show it some biscuit or something and the dog is going to come to you. Like that only, this is what I sort of feel. So this is, if I have to leave my beautiful home, which is like eternal bliss, and come to a state where I don't know anything, where there is so much of challenges, suffering and all that, I had to be lured with a biscuit, which is like ego. And then I had to be lured to say that you will find that you have to find that eternal bliss in everything that you get there. Go try to search. So you are searching and searching and searching and searching, and then you got lost in this whole thing. It is like, let's say you went with your father to what do you say, an exhibition, and then there is a lot of these games and all that in the exhibition, colorful stuff. And then your father says, don't leave my hand, okay? You always hold my hand. Otherwise, you'll get lost in this whole crowd. But then it is so colorful. What will you do? You just leave your father's hand and then you run and then go to play whatever you want in that masti. You're just absorbed in that whole thing. But then what happens in the night? Suddenly you remember, oh, it's already night. I have to go back home. But where is my father? I'm lost. That is what is called human life. That is what we are. We are at that stage. We are lost. Now we are in the search. We are in the process of searching our father back, our family back, our true state back. And how will we find it? We have to go into every single place of that exhibition and see whether my father is there, whether my father is there, whether that eternal bliss is there. We are going and searching in every single place. So that is why, what if you miss a certain place? There will always be that curiosity. Oh, I missed that spot. Maybe my father was there. So that is the curiosity that the soul has to have, and it is automatically programmed. It is constantly going to go into that search. But the ego is trying to say, no, it is not there. It is not here. Don't go to, don't do that. Don't do this. All that ego is going to continue to do because it wants to keep you here. Because this experience, it wants to keep you here and then keep making you experience. But then the tendency of the ego is to keep you here. The tendency of the soul is to take you back. So for you to go back to your family, you'll have to take the help of ego, experience this whole creation, and then go back to find and say, okay, I didn't find my father in any of these exhibitions. My father is perhaps waiting at the gate already. Let me go find at that gate. So we are going to go to that gate. And there, we have now searched the entire exhibition. My father was not there. And then I am also satisfied that I searched everywhere and there is no other way, there is no other place that he can actually be except the gate. So that is where you're going to go inwards, and that is where you're going to seek your soul through meditation. See, there is a lot of ways to seek the soul. This is a quote from Patriji before I go to the next slide. Human evolution is so designed that in the first phase, we develop a strong separatehood, a strong egohood. And then in the second phase, we have to make equal efforts to erase that separateness, erase the ego. These are the two imperative phases in the evolution of human species. In these two phases, the humans differ vastly from animals. So this is Patriji's quote. And if you read books like Golden Lake, Sunshine Before the Dawn, Bringers of the Dawn, and all of those things, you will know that how the souls came to earth and how this human body was formed in the process of finding itself. What all did they do? The soul wisdom, how did they all get? And how did the Lyrans and all those civilizations basically evolve themselves into separatehood? Initially, feminism, see, when there is oneness, when the creator is in his unmanifest state, it is all into oneness. It is all together. So that is feminine energy. And it is all balanced. Now, in the process of experiencing, when these civilizations were trying to understand everything, they basically became more mind-centered and not heart-centered. They went into from feminine energies, they went into predominant masculine energies. And now what we are doing is, we are in the second phase. We are now going into oneness. We are going back into oneness. We are now trying to get out of our patriarchy or that male dominance mentalities. And let me see, these male energies and female energies are in all the bodies, not just female bodies. It is also there in male bodies, which is Shiva and Shakti both. So now we are trying to balance our Shiva aspect of it is very strong, which is exactly why there's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of separation. There's a lot of, what do you say, sadness. So now we have to go back to that feminine energy, strong feminine energies, which is more motherly in nature, which is more inclusive in nature, which is more oneness, which is more unity, which is more compassion. We are now going into that second phase, which is why you see many people doing meditations. You see many people going into plant-based lifestyles. You see many people going into all forms of satvikta, all forms of leaving their, going into more of that kind of, that path, which is going to give them more peace, more calm. People are going and seeking and going into woods and then trying to meditate, trying to going away from the cities, whatever may be the ways, but they are trying to get to that state, which is more into feminine, strong energies. And in the feminine energy, even though the feminine energy is predominant, it is not going to suppress the male energy and then trying to rise forward. It is more about inclusiveness. But in the male dominance aspects, it is more about separation. So here the male dominance, the male energy is going to suppress the female energies and then say, the ego is going to become very, very strong. It is going to say, I am better than you. Those kinds of separation is going to be there. But the female energy is characteristic, even though it is predominant, it is more about inclusiveness. I'm going to include you and then still grow together. Okay, so that is what is called soul Vijnan. And we are moving in that process. And so this is a stage by stage accumulation of jnana, and we are getting that wisdom in every single step of the way. Next slide. So what helps us with this jnana in our process of evolution? First is, how do we get, now the soul has forgotten what is the plan, because it is now in the female, in the bodies. So how do we get it? We get it in the form of objects, people, experiences, and situations. In these forms, all of this is going to come and then give us messages. They are all postman. Objects are a form of postman. People are a form of postman. Experiences are a form of postman. Situation is also a form of postman. They are going to constantly give us messages. Okay, what we do? We go and then attack the postman and say, you are bad, you are good, you are very hateful of me, you have some agenda, that is why you try to hate me, you try to do this to me, so we do all that. Or we say this is a black cloth, it is evil, it is this, it is that. We try to blame objects, and then we try to go and then tell this food is bad, that food is bad. It's going to, if I eat an orange, I'm going to get cold. If I maybe eat this will happen. So we are trying to blame objects. We are trying to blame people. We are trying to blame the experience and then tell that this experience was bad for me. This experience was good for me. This situation created bad issues with me. So we are trying to blame, but they are just messengers. They have nothing to do with your thing. You are 100% responsible for creating this entire plan, and they are just actors in this whole thing. And if you raise your vibrations, like yesterday she was talking about levels of consciousness. So if you go from a lower emotional state to a higher emotional state, and then in my 7 bodies I spoke about levels of growth, you're going from awareness state. So if you go from one level to another level, what is actually happening? These people are going to give you better messages. Their job is to only give you message. So if you're learning at step 1 now, and you get better and you raise your vibrations, what will happen? The same objects, the same people, the same experiences, the same situations are going to give you better messages, better learnings, better things. So don't blame all these people, because they are just playing like actors, postman, and then trying to give you what you ask for. We are creating our reality. We are asking the universe with our thoughts, with our intentions, and then these messengers are constantly giving us information. So don't blame them. It is how information comes to us for knowledge. And then, of course, books, objects, social media, teachers, classes, they all come to us based on the level of consciousness that we have. You will not get knowledge that you need for samadhi state at this now itself, because there is so much of knowledge. We are just getting a subset of knowledge in front of us, because that is what we are ready for. And in that also, we may be ready to only sign up for this class. Like this, why did this class come to you? Because you're ready. For some people, they have just signed up for this workshop. They have not attended any classes in this workshop. They have not attended meditation. They thought that, let me keep all these links with me. When I have time, I will play those links and then I will do. So, okay, that time has not come. Then next level is I attend. But then maybe I go into trance and then I don't even understand what master is saying. I sleep off in the class. The next level is I am very conscious in this class. I'm very attentive, but then I may not understand it all. And then even if I understand, I may not understand 100%. So all of these are levels. So not everybody who sit in this class will be able to understand everything. Not everybody in this class will have so everybody has different takeaways based on their levels of consciousness. So we are all very unique in our sadhana. So this sadhana is a tool, or it's a process, or whatever you want to call, to go for to hasten our progress, to hasten our journey. So first important thing, which even Patriji talks about, which is Bhagavad Gita. We've heard about Bhagavad Gita even from Pradeep Master. Karma Yoga. The very first topic in Bhagavad Gita is called Karma Yoga, where you have to understand that I have to do only my action. I am not responsible for the fruits of my action, which means it is not in my scope of work. So many people have asked, so shouldn't I plan for my future? I'm a project manager. I shouldn't plan for the project. I shouldn't plan for profits when I'm running a company. No, it is not like that. You should plan. You can plan, do whatever you want, but you should not have any attachments to that outcome. You will plan for a certain outcome because you believe that outcome is best for you. But then you should be ready for all the outcomes, because that outcome that is coming to you is not coming because you are doing something. Whatever you get as a part of your karma is based on your past doing. You have earned, or whatever you get today as earning is coming from your past doing. What you're doing today as action, that is going to invest for your future. So that is what Karma Yoga says. You focus on your actions, because what you're going to get today as a result of your action is not coming because you did this job properly or something. It is going to come because with what intention you did, with what earnestly you did this job. That's all is being judged here. You're being measured only for the kind of karma that you're doing, the quality of karma that you're doing. You're not measured for the outcome. The outcome is going to automatically come if the intentions are for the highest good, is what Karma Yoga says. And then another thing about Karma Yoga is you have to, when these objects, people, experiences, and situations are coming to you as postman and messengers, you should believe that they are only postman. They are not here for with an evil agenda to hurt you or something like that. So never ever try to pin and blame and things like that. Treat them with respect. Treat all of your enemies also with respect. And show gratitude that they are carrying all your messages from past life to you. So be grateful. That is all you have to be. For all the people in your life, you have to be grateful. And they are just different faces and forms and figures. But what are they carrying? Messages from you only. So which means that is where oneness comes. Oneness. Why do we say oneness? Oneness? Because although the names and faces and everything look different, they are carrying your messages only from your soul journey from the past. So that is why you have to see them as you. So that is what Karma Yoga says. Just be grateful to all of them. See that creator in everybody, because the creator is in them also, the creator is in you also, and then So that oneness has to be practiced in Karma Yoga. So when this karma is action. We are doing, if we do action, but then we are not in union with that creator, union with that whole essence of creation, then we are not doing, then we are not in yoga, which is not union. So karma yoga is the very first thing that you have to remember to go forward in this journey. And of course, there are people who do visualizations, chanting, and all of those things that will only take you to your heart chakra. It is not going to take you beyond. It is only going to take you forward in the physical plane, which is your energy body and the mental body. It will help you focus. It will help you in concentration building and things like that. It will increase your vibrations because sound also has energy. All of those things are there because what everybody does is right. Nobody is here to do wrong things. Everybody is right. If they are chanting, if they are visualizing, if they are doing other forms of bhakti yoga or whatever, it is okay. None of them are wrong. For their levels of awareness, whatever they are doing is all perfect. But it will only take you so far. If for you to go to understand your inwards, you will have to meditate to reach your ultimate state. Before that, you'll have to go, and then to increase your vibrations, you can do all of those things. You'll have to go from an animal-based lifestyle, animal-dependent lifestyle to a plant-dependent lifestyle, because plants are grounded. Plants bring that highest form of energy. They are completely grounded. Animals are not grounded. We are all not grounded, but animals are grounded. And then connecting to music, connecting to dance, living in nature, and then attending satsangs. All of these things are very, very important. But ultimately, meditation is what is going to take you to your soul state, ultimate soul state. So that is why even in Bhagavad Gita, Dhyana Yoga is in the last few phases, last few chapters. First is Karma Yoga, then comes your Bhakti Yoga, then comes your Jnana Yoga, then comes your Dhyana Yoga. So you cannot just keep jumping. See, Patriji did not say just keep doing meditation. He did not say just do meditation. He said, bring your Jnana also with you. Read your books. Parallelly read your books, right? Parallelly do Karma Yoga, do your job without expecting anything in that outcome. So he asked us to practice Karma Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is what? Bhakti towards your soul, not bhakti towards some deity or something. Bhakti here is your Swadharma. Who are you? Show bhakti. Bhakti is level of devotion. Bhakti is nothing but love, friends. Bhakti is nothing but love. How will you love yourself? You will love yourself only when you know yourself. You will be, how do we know? Like if you have a very, very best friend and you love that best friend, how did you even become so close to that best friend? Because you started interacting with her, interacting with them, knowing them, and those kinds of things. So that love, Bhakti Yoga is more about love for self. When you are constantly in oneness in Karma Yoga, then you are constantly in that state of bliss all the time. And then you are in oneness state. And that is what is self-love. You're seeing love for self in everybody. That is Bhakti Yoga. Then because you are in that state, you are in the state of humility. Because you are in that state of humility, you are going to get that jnana. Knowledge will come only when you are humble. When you are in that state of bend, you bend and then get that knowledge. Then you get jnana. And after you are getting jnana or in the process of that jnana, you are basically implementing it in dhyana. Dhyana is going to bring you energy. And then this energy plus this jnana, which is knowledge, is going to help you attain soul realization, which is the last part in Bhagavad Gita. So do we have to experience every single undo? Do we have to undo all our, see, when we in the process of our evolution, we did not know we were a soul, right? We did not know that we had an intellect, that we had an inner voice that is constantly trying to guide us towards our path and all that. We did not know. So we have committed all the heinous crimes. It was necessary that lack of knowledge was necessary for us to commit all the heinous crimes. To understand the negative side of the spectrum of living of human beings, we had to understand all that. To understand all that. Now, once we have realized that, okay, I'm done with all these things, Now I have to go and seek my soul. That is when the journey goes towards that soul path. Then we will have to undo, or rather do the opposite of what we did in the past. And of course, those karma just keeps kind of playing out. So as we move towards the spiritual path, it becomes more challenging and challenging. It becomes more difficult and difficult. Challenges come to, because we have to finish off that syllabus. We have to finish off that quota of learning, no? So it keeps coming. The more we want to go hasten this progress, if we do that fifth step of hastening this progress, the more challenges keep coming, because it's like 2 classes portions are getting finished within 1 year itself. Like that, it'll keep coming. So, jnanagni dagda karmana means knowledge also burns karma. So, when you read books, when you believe that things are actually like this, you don't have to experience it to burn all that. See, karma burning means I have learned the opposite part of it at a soul level. So sometimes you get this aha experience, right? Oh my God, it is like this, is it? Okay, that is that through knowledge itself, you're getting that, you're burning. And then you don't have to actually live it to understand it. So that is what is called knowledge. So sometimes the jnana comes and then burns karma, sometimes experience comes and burns. So, but then when we are getting a lot of energy through meditation, then and also doing the reading, most of the time knowledge can burn karma. And meditation energy, which is cosmic energy, also burns karma. So these are all ways to hasten the progress. Next slide, please. So this, I think I already spoke about in my past slide itself. So we go from separateness to oneness, and then we go from an animal-like, human with wild and extreme habits to human with awareness of intellect, but believing in duality. We are all in duality at one point. Then human with awareness of intellect, but moving out of duality to oneness. Then human with awareness and living in oneness intellectually only. No, still experience has not happened. Then we go to experiential state. Before we go to experiential state, stage by stage, see how we are progressing. Then we go from Aham Brahmasmi, then we go to Brahma Jnana. So we go to that supreme consciousness. From self-consciousness or soul consciousness, we go to supreme consciousness. So this is the progression. So here again, Patriji has told, I think I spoke about this quote in the previous slide itself. Okay, next slide. So this is what I wanted to speak about today. And these are the suggested readings. You can take a screenshot of it and go ahead and then do this reading for yourself. And yeah, I didn't have anything else. If you had questions, I can take questions. I don't know what's the time. Did I overshoot? Sorry, 5 minutes more. So yesterday, I think I was told that we can definitely take questions for whatever time we want. Questions are more important. Yeah, please. You can stop sharing, Bhartiji.
Yeah, before we move on to questions, I would like to add on one other viewpoint, because I think that this is a right juncture when you shared perfect knowledge on this soul wisdom. It was it was an enlightening experience for myself. So I would like to share one view wherein that karmanyevadhikarasya ma phaleshu it comes, right? Means don't be attached to the fruits. Means when we understand this life better, that there is this life exists with the two truths. One is physical truth, that is also so true, and one is the subtle truth that we are the souls. So we should understand that this life is a like running on trains are running on the parallel tracks, right? So the truth is running on the parallel truth, means the truth present in the soul subtle world is not present in the physical world. Physical, so the physical truths are not present in the soul world. So we need to understand these parallel truths properly. Like means this physical, when you are when you have to do the actions, when you're discharging your actions, it is so much true that you have to put your efforts, and you have to put efforts like not to fail, you have to put efforts to succeed. When you cook food, you have to make it good. If you put more salt and all means surrender, whatever it is taken, we can't do that way. You have to use your intellect and do the actions, execute as much as to our ability, to the maximum of our capability. We have to do the best. So that way, when we are doing the actions, we should do the actions as if everything depends on the physical self. And when you are when it is time, when you're stopped, when all that to the best of your knowledge you have done, now you relax without at that point you relax in the soul consciousness level. That is when you are very easily can stay without like expecting anything from the results, like, because you move on to the soul consciousness level and you enter into the non-doership. At the soul level, you understand that you are not the doer,
Yeah.
only at the soul level. But physically, you have to know that you have to do, and you have to do the actions required, correction action or whatever. But only at the soul level we can live at the non-doership. Non-doership is at the subtle level, not at the physical level. So hope I'm
Yeah,
clear.
the art of surrender. So the art of
Yeah.
surrender in every single aspect of your life, where you believe that the universe is working for me, the universe is created for me, and then you believe that everything is going to happen for the best. So I'm just going to do my action to the best of my abilities, and then what comes to me is going to also be the best, whether I judge or don't judge, it is still the best.
Yeah.
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 Any questions? You can unmute yourself and hopefully come on video if possible, so that we can connect.
Okay. Excellent session, ma'am. Really, so much. Very, very nice. And I know you're the postman, and I had the aha moment so many times on this. Excellent session. Very nice. Thank you so much. Great going.
Thank you, Shaman.
Thank
Anybody else? Anybody asking questions in the chat? Not sure.
No, it's not a question.
Not
It's
a
just a
question.
compliment.
Okay. So no questions. Do we wrap up then?
If you are done, if you have anything to add on, you can add on, and then.
So do you want me to just give you a summary or something like that, or we can wrap up? Friends, any you can tell on the chat or.
I think summary would be good.
Yeah. So friends, to just remember some of the things that I believe in my life when I'm some of the key takeaways that you should take away from this, which I would take away is, first thing is, I'm an instrument of God. If I'm an instrument of God, all of these gods, they are just symbols for us to get to that state. So for example, let's say Krishna consciousness, or even if we take his form for that matter, or Patriji's flute. If Patriji has to play a flute, let's say if that flute had some dirt inside the flute, he can't play that flute properly, right? There won't be beautiful music coming out of that flute. So we have to be like a flute, which is completely clean inside. That should be our attempt. If we are completely clean inside, can I be played for getting good music? That should be the question that you need to ask yourself. Am I the instrument God would pick to play beautiful music? If you think you're still not there, which means you still have to clean yourself. Okay, that is one thing. In every single thing of your, like, there are situations in our life where we think that without me, this situation will basically collapse itself. No, always think that I am going to do my job. Rest is going to fall. Whether I like it or no, I am going to accept. Before We will have that preference for a certain outcome, but believe that all outcomes are necessary for me because I am here for all experiences, not good experiences, not bad experiences. I'm always craving for good, craving for the best, craving for that happiness and all that, because my natural state is to be happy. That is why I'm constantly craving for to go in that direction. But you are not here to go search for happiness. You are here to be happy despite the challenges. So that is something that you have to remember. I'm not here to go and constantly search happiness. Where is my happiness? Where is my happiness? That is like the ignorant soul, deluded soul that is searching always for happiness. I don't like this, so let me go. If I do that, maybe I'll be happy. If I do that, maybe I'll be happy. Don't ever go into that vicious cycle of getting lost. You should be in your present state, in the challenging state also. That is the best place that you have to be. Because you're here in an examination hall, friends. You are not going to expect, you have to write an exam here. You can't just say, I'm going to sit and relax here. And there is nobody on earth who is relaxed. Even when Krishna he was in his 7th chakra. At that stage also, he had so many challenges. He had so many enemies, right? So earth is a place where everybody will be having challenges. There is nobody who's devoid of challenges. Even in their highest state also, they'll have challenges. But how you handle your challenge, is very, very important. So don't expect yourself to go like a piece of cake. It has to be a rough edge. It has to be full of ups and downs. That is when you are basically getting the most rich experience. You should say, wow, accident. It is going to be so beautiful that I'm going to live an accident victim's life. And then so much of beautiful experiences I'm going to get. If I didn't have an accident, then I wouldn't have lived an accident victim's life at all. Wow, I got robbed. Beautiful. It's nice that I got robbed. At least I got that experience. So like this, you should say everything is great. Everything is great because you are just a visitor here. Collect all the experiences and then keep going. Take that potli and then carry as much as you can as experiences, as soul wisdom, as virtues or whatever it is. Okay. So, and always remember art of surrender. Very, very important. People can talk about manifestations. I want this, I want that, and all of those things. Yes, you are creators. You can obviously manifest whatever you want. But again, that is a lower form of consciousness where you say, I know what I want better than other people. But if you follow these rules, spiritual science laws, that what I'm still progressing in the right direction, whatever is happening to me is always the best. This entire universe is created only for me. So when all of these other concepts come into play, and when you start understanding that and you go into higher forms of consciousness, you will not want to manifest anything yourself because you know that whatever is happening to me